Welcome SAO survivors to This Week in SAO for all your weekly Sword Art Online news. This week I have just arrived from Poland yesterday to watch the Scherzo movie. Really brief, short opinions. It was an absolutely incredible movie in my opinion. It started a bit worse, I want to say, than Aria in terms of visual quality, in my opinion, from what I have seen from a single watch, by the way. But with every single set piece that the movie offered, the quality just went up and up and up. And in my opinion, Fuscus the Vacant Colossus, the floor 5 boss battle, has been the best ever boss battle portrayed in SAO anime format. Now I'm saying that from a visual perspective, from a mechanical boss mechanic perspective, a teammates perspective and all that kind of stuff, but I will get back into that in more depth when I actually eventually sometime put my review on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button so you don't miss that. Like button is not necessarily for not missing it, but hey, it helps me, so please do that. Now I have been tasked by Huo from SAO Wikia to talk to you about Kirito's love sickness towards Asuna. So what better way to follow it up with the scene from the Scherzo movie. At the very beginning of the movie, there's a scene that takes place in a cafe on the outer edge of Aincrad's floor 5, where Kirito, Asuna and Argo are eating together, planning ahead what to do on the floor. And in my opinion, this features one of the best, well, best is a bit of a reach with so many scenes that had, but one of the better scenes that showcases how Kirito feels towards Asuna, when Asuna mentions that she has received an invitation to the upcoming Christmas party, and Asuna was invited by another male player named Shibata. Now this gets Kirito in a really sour mood, you can see it all over him. It's a really cute scene, all the while Argo is just watching there right behind them with a huge grin on her face. That's one of the lovelier scenes that the movie offers. Well, you know, maybe I'll just add a KiriAsu Corner in future videos as well, who knows, we'll see what happens. Sword Art Online Volume 27 English translation Unital Ring 6 has been officially scheduled by Yen Press for August 22. Now, as always, this is an early date reveal, so chances are you should calculate with a 1-2 weeks of delays if it happens. But aside from that, we are officially catching up to the Japanese release on the main series as well. So at this point, we are finally starting to wait for Reki to speed up his own schedule, and he is probably busy with Demon's Crest instead. SAO Anomaly Quest, the SAO project that we have talked about last week to take place in Shinjuku, a real-life event, possibly an escape room, most possibly an escape room featuring a dark Asuna and a dark Kirito who will be chasing you. We have received a clean key visual illustration with both Kirito and Asuna this time properly visible. It's a very gorgeous art piece. We have also received both of them on separate layers as well, so here you are if you want to check. But if you want more information about it, not much is known. As I said, it is very likely an escape room event, nothing else. I have talked about it a little bit more in the previous twist, but again, barely anything is known at the moment. With that, we're moving straight to Variant Showdown. A lot of things to talk about when it comes to Variant Showdown. Last week, we finally had that developer stream for Variant Showdown with Takeuchi P on display, mainly addressing the concerns that were brought up in the player feedback survey that we had across the past month, and of course some plans going forward as to what will come to Variant Showdown, what they'll be focusing on and all that kind of stuff. But before I get to the details of the stream, we had the character decoration feature that was introduced into the game on the February 24 update. We already had some really nice stuff in the SAO Wikia Discord. Here are some examples. This feature has been received quite nicely so far, and I'm interested to see where they will go from here. Also, the very same update actually brought a lot of overhauls and performance improvements into the game as well. The game is running much smoother right now. There are some more camera tricks going on with the depth of field and all that kind of stuff. So do check it out if your phone was giving you quite the hot potato in your hands previously. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is closer to the state that they wanted to release the game on before they had to rush the publishing of the game to be able to capitalize on Unleash Blading's eventual demise. They just simply couldn't delay it any more than they already had. New limited battle event is here. We're fighting a Fire Santa this time around. It's the usual, you pick your debuffs however you want, make the boss more difficult, and try to achieve as high of a difficulty clear as you can for the highest rewards. What you shouldn't be skipping on is the daily dungeons of the limited battle for additional coins to use at the exchange shop for more rewards. Now, the contents of that developer stream, as I said, focusing on the player feedback survey. There's a lot of things. I'm gonna show up all the Q&As that have been translated by the official account so far and published by the Japanese account as well. I'm not gonna touch on every single thing. Some of them are the usual extremely vague, you know, we're looking into it, we're trying to make things better in the most vaguest terms I have ever seen in a while. But there are some interesting bits and pieces here. If you want to read it all, just pause it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna touch on the key bits that I think are important. Scout Pity, something a lot of you have been expecting for a while, is scheduled for spring/summer of this year. Pity is not actually a feature I like all that much. It's called a pity by a lot of players, but when you look under the hood, it's you can be damn sure it's not a gracious offer by the gods of gacha games, so to say. But I can make a 10-minute video on that and we'll still have ground to cover. In spring, they are expecting to release a common form of Limit Break crystals, so it's not just going to be character specific. I think they were called Almighty crystals or something like that in previous games. Something similar to that, so you will be able to, using these crystals, you will be able to limit break any character you want, not just a single character. The Battle Royale mode that was mentioned early in development as well is scheduled to come around in spring/summer. It's gonna be a 1v1v1v1, so 4 players in an arena fighting against each other. That's all the information we have for now. One of the most prominent visual complaints was that some characters did not feature the specific weapons that they had on the character art in their 3D models in the game. This was most noticeable on the banner we had with Kirito and Shinon in the detective clothes. You know, Kirito had a gun and a photon sword in the illustration, whereas he still had the Dark Repulsor and Elucidator. They said they are committing to actually having the in-game model and the weapons match the illustrations in the future, so that's a really nice step to have. You know, at some point I was even scared that things like weapons were going to be paid accessories with the character decoration. I'm glad to see they're not going that way. In more short-term plans, we now know the spring banner characters. It is going to be Lifa and Asuna, along with featuring Asuna and Yuki ability cards. That's gonna be the first banner of the March month. Speaking of March, we're also getting a new battle pass with Lisbeth this time around, getting locked behind the paywall, featuring a beautiful unit and a very nice ability card. There was also more content teased on the stream, like the treasure hunting content that is planned later down the line, but the official Twitter account didn't translate it and the official Japanese account didn't post about it either, so I'm not covering it in this stream. Aside from that, the Sword Online Variant Showdown is also looking for character decoration feature ideas, so if you have specific things that you want to see in the game added to the decoration feature contents, do tweet at them with SAOVS_decoration. Yes, that is the correct hashtag, to let them know, and maybe it'll be included in the game in the future. Now, this is a lot of talk about the future, but what is going on right now? The game is actually in quite a bad place. We're now at the end of February, and if you look at the data, the popularity as well as the revenue of the game is plummeting even harder. You know, we're 3+ months in. You would expect it to just smoothen out with the decline at some point, but it's just going sharper and sharper, and that is very concerning. We will have to wait and see whether these plans actually come to fruition, or if something else is awaiting the game at the end of the tunnel at this point. Either way, I am definitely expecting a rebranding / a soft relaunch at the 0.5 anniversary that these games, well, everything is an anniversary at this point to sell more stuff, but specifically in this case, I expect them to use the opportunity to make a soft relaunch of the game to breathe some life into it, and at that point it's gonna be a matter of whether the game can actually recover the player base that it has lost previously, or if we're looking at a very early shutdown. We will have to wait and see. But that's enough doom and gloom. Sword Online Integral Factor. Floor 31 has been implemented, and this is the first full-sized floor since the clear of floor 100. The previous 2 floors we had, they were event-sized floors that did not exactly focus on the main story itself. This time, we're for the first time having a full-size story and focusing on what's properly happening beyond floor 100 with the 2 new characters that we have received that on the top of my mind I do not remember their names. I didn't write them down either, so you're gonna have to excuse me on that. They haven't appeared long enough to make an impression on me yet. But aside from that story edition, we had the Koharu birthday banner with 2 gorgeous looking skills. There's also a bunch of other stuff like the proficiency cap being raised, new proficiency skills, and Lifa's limit breaking dojo thingy that was quite underwhelming for me the last time it came around. And last but not least, it wasn't just me who got to watch the Scherzo movie. Gshimenas, back in his own country, did get a chance to watch it as well, and with that hype he wanted to share the final chapter of Scherzo of Deep Night manga adaptation translation as well on Dreadful Decoding. We hope you enjoy. But that's it for this week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week as well. Until then, stay cool.